What is up, mi gente? Cisco Gomez here, and welcome to The Progressing Male. Here we're trying to create an open space to have convos that challenge stigmas. We want to break the damn stereotypes that men cannot communicate, that we are not allies, and that we cannot access our emotions. Through certain topics, we hope to enlighten, entertain, but if we're wrong, feel free to holler back. If you're watching this on YouTube, the comments down below, let us know your thoughts because this is a conversation. And of course, we are trying to cancel culture because I'm over it. We shouldn't be tiptoeing around. We should be talking, discussing, dismantling conversations to come up with better solutions. And yes, you heard me say we because I am not alone. Once again, I have the Ginger Ninja to my right.
Yahoo!
Dancer to many people. Fired just the same.
Wow.
I'm joking. We have Kane Silver, everyone.
We back, baby.
And then to my left, the goat man. That's a sheep.
Goats do make that sound.
You might see him in the Jamelia video.
Oh, yeah.
You might see him in the Victoria Beckham and Dame Bowers video.
Oh, yeah.
You just might. But to me, he's a dance hero and a very good friend. Dwayne Nosworthy.
Hey. Come on, Cisco Gomez.
How are we, gentlemen? We good?
Beautiful.
Thought I would bring summer.
You look lovely today.
I do.
I like it.
I do.
I like your earrings.
What?
Go on, say what you really want to say.
No, you look cute.
You know what he actually wanted to say, my viewers and listeners, was, do you know that your earrings are not matching? And I'm like, yeah, it's fashion.
I would never be so disrespectful to you.
Oh,
You
God.
definitely
if
said
only,
that.
if, you know he did. You know he did.
I'm missing the pills this week.
The pearls.
Yeah, remember last time you wore the pearl
Yes,
necklace?
it's not that type of outfit.
Okay.
Okay. You see, a fashionista would know that.
Sorry.
Gosh.
I like the color. I like the colors. It's
It
nice.
suits you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What are we discussing today, Cisco? Come
Thank you, Dwayne, because I was got really awkward with Kane there.
Just wanted more compliments.
He was looking at you so hard. He was like,
He was just waiting for more
I was
compliments.
like,
You were
what's
like, thank you.
Maybe I was,
Thank
Kane.
you.
Maybe I was.
Thank you.
Maybe I was. Anywho, today, boys, I want to talk about something that really irks me.
What does irk mean?
Annoy.
Okay.
These, I'm going to call them masculine stereotypes.
okay.
You know, like once a cheater, always a cheater. That kind of stuff. It really annoys me because I think it's a setup for failure because it adds this kind of like unspoken expectation to not make mistakes. And I think the most beautiful realizations in life are through mistakes, sometimes, unfortunately.
Definitely.
And this is just through my life.
Yep.
And so the ones I wanted to speak about more is the ones that stained men about infidelity.
Yep.
The ones about that, you know, we don't communicate, and the ones that we don't provide in the household.
Right.
Those really irk me because I came from a single mother, you know, so I didn't see my dad, you know, contribute almost anything, especially not in the kitchen or like, you know, with the ironing, whatever. But I still didn't carry that with me saying that all men are like that, or that I was expecting fathers to be like that. You know, it's a choice.
Got you.
And I just feel like women with every right to an extent have really like kind of like implemented this in society and to other men's heads. And also men who do this, they don't try to change because it was installed in us before we could even have a chance to experience life.
So beautifully said.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
it
yeah,
annoys me. And so what I wanted to start off with is, do you guys, well, I hope you care because I've got you talking about it, but does this matter to you, Kane? Like these stereotypes?
Yeah.
I call them masculine stereotypes because I feel like men are the only ones that really get, you know, are in the punching bag for it.
Yeah. It bothers me. I hate it when people are like, you know, when they go like, women do the housework, men go to work. Women do like the traditional stereotypes.
So was this installed to you?
Not via my family.
Okay.
But like my society and where I'm from is very that way.
Wales, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Like it feels very quite old fashioned
Mhm.
and like that. And like with my partner, with Georgia, I really try not to make it that. I try to be like, no, I'm going to cook breakfast, or like, I'm going to put the washing on.
Yeah, you're a
I'm
gentleman.
going to hoover. Like, it's not I work, you clean. You know what I mean? Because some days she gets up at 6 and goes to work and I stay in bed. And then I get up and I go, I should probably hoover so she doesn't get home and think I've done nothing all day. Like,
Right.
do you know what I mean? And I try and pull my weight. Granted, it's never to the standard that she would do it.
Yeah.
But I do my 100%. even though that's only her 50%.
Right.
Understood.
You know what
But
I mean?
it's the effort.
But I give my 100%, and I'll be like, babe, I changed the beds, I washed the dishes, I took the dog out, emptied the
That
bins, and
Right there is such a man thing, by the way.
Yeah.
No, as in,
letting her know.
I'm letting you know because I always say this. Like, I know it seems really pedantic, but men, we appreciate that kind of like, you know,
That's a little validation.
Tell me what-
tell me I did well for the smallest thing.
Tell me good job.
Yeah, tell me good job. But that good job means so much to
Yeah.
us.
And you know what it is, boys? It's because systematically and we've inherited these things that we can't do that thing,
Yeah.
or
Right.
we shouldn't do them.
shouldn't.
Yeah, so
now-
we need the validation to be like good.
Yes.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
not gonna lie, I'm more likely to do it again then if you say well done.
Yeah.
More-
Or if you say
Because
thank
it's
you, if you
appreciated.
appreciate it, I wanna do things that make her happy, or I want to do things that help her or make
Feel
her life
happy.
easier.
Yeah.
You know,
understand.
or things if she comes home from work and goes, do you know what? I haven't got to stress about all that stuff you've solved. I go me, 1 point to me
Mm.
because I've made 2 points for her.
Yeah.
Because I've made her life easier or her day better.
Right.
Really, that wasn't that challenging. But then, like, I'll go and speak to like more of an older generation, where it's like they'll sit on the sofa and be like, "Wife's cooking. What are we having for dinner?" You know, like that typical man shit.
Yeah, no, it really is.
Like what we call
And
it,
he
even
just
though
sits
that's what we're
there and
trying to
eats, and that's
Yeah,
it.
and then he finishes and goes, "I don't want that now," and gives the plate. I'm like, stand up, take it, wash
Oh
it.
wow.
Well,
Yeah,
you know,
like-
you can wash it as well.
Yeah,
You've
like-
seen her
like
do
even
it
little things like that. Like,
numerous times.
you know, like not in my family exactly, but I've been at people's houses
Mhm.
where like the lady or whoever, the mum or the whatever's gran has cooked, spent all this time cooking this amazing food. They bring it, you eat it, and then people just get up and leave and don't take their dishes and expect them to take it. I'm like, what? Like,
Yeah.
I always be like, what can I do with this? Where would you like?
Yeah,
me-
lack of
can I wash
manners.
it?
Yeah.
Little things like that. Like,
Because manners, as Cisco just said, isn't gender specific.
And it should never
even though
be.
it has the word man in it.
Yeah, but it's not gender specific. It's not like only women should have manners and only men shouldn't, as and when it kind of suits the
Yeah.
stereotype.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Dwayne? Which one irks you?
What irks me is kind of just like that tradition, kind of that thing that where people say, this is man, this is woman.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? And it's kind of like we've got to all meet this stereotype. So women are more nurturing and caring. Men are more the providers and the protectors. Now that implies that women don't have a providing or protecting nature in their body
And men can't nurture.
and care when it's absolute bullshit.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
I would say the feminine energy again does more sway to that way more naturally, as in the masculine energy more sways to the protecting and providing more naturally. But that doesn't mean that we don't possess both.
But it does it, or is that what we've been taught? So you associate it that way?
I think
Because I
naturally
think
it does.
women have access to both, and men do also.
No, access definitely, but I think we sway to that,
Okay.
yeah, naturally. But again, that doesn't mean that all men do and all women do.
Mhm.
But I think naturally the masculine and feminine, if we were, again, we're getting into gender specific, but I'm not being gender specific.
I know.
but
We
kind
have
of
to label it to something.
To
yeah.
something, yeah.
Mhm.
So it's like they sway naturally, but I do think that we have definitely been conditioned to believe that that is how it should be. So if you don't, you're not a woman. If you don't, you're not a man. So I think society has said, I think we've put that kind of pressure on ourselves as well as men, even by
Because we don't know any better until we
don't know
get to a certain age.
right. So we're told, like even me, I've been told that a man is this, and if I'm not that, therefore I'm not a man
Yeah, or less of.
or less than. And it's like, do you know what I mean? So if I find myself caring and nurturing, who am I?
Don't they say that the feminine side is more of the creative side?
I think that's very a Y2K thing to try and make femininity in a male cool.
Because I was going to say, does that
Right.
does that mean that maybe because of our professions, as we're all creatives,
Uh-huh.
that we have more of that than maybe say Dave, who's a builder who lives down the road?
But I think what that goes down to is what Cisco's talking about. That again is the conditioning. Because Dave, that's a builder, has been told and conditioned that a man should do. You can be Dave, a builder, and still be in touch with your feminine side.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And still be considered a real man.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm in touch with my feminine side, but I lead with my more masculine side. Do you know what I mean? But I'm very in touch with my feminine side.
Mm.
And if we were to say that it's the more caring and nurturing side, I'm happy to call it that because we have to call it something.
But you're saying you lead with your more masculine side. But if I if someone said to me, like, what do you think Dwayne leads with? I would say with love and caring and affection, which would be your feminine side, no?
Which is what society says
deems.
is my care is more feminine side. But love isn't gender specific.
Because you don't lead with your macho exterior, like,
again,
Dwayne,
that's not masculine. That's what they consider and condition us to believe and deem as masculine. But it's not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's knowing when. It's knowing how.
Because I think, like, as well, like, it's not only do those stereotypes hold weight to it, but also it's like the lack of decorum and chivalry attached to certain actions is being lost. Because I'm trying to think, as you guys were talking, I was like, imagine if you're a Gen Z and you are them.
When is Gen Z?
After us.
Okay.
The newbies, the ones that the year 2000 onwards. Like, it's a bit like, because these roles are man and woman to us, and now you have a person who is they, them, are they going to be defiant and be like, well, fuck the system, which means they're probably not going to pick up much of anything. They're just going to figure it out. Or are they going to feel a pressure that's going to cripple them because they're like, I don't know what to do because I don't feel comfortable in my feminine or my masculine. You know what I mean? And if these stereotypes were neutralized and it's just basic 101 manners for man and woman and they them, then we wouldn't be having these issues. Because one thing that I dislike, because I'm the living product that it's not right, you know, when people are like, you know, oh, once a cheat, always a cheat. I've cheated. I've cheated once, and it only took me once to cheat to never do it again.
Understood.
I've been cheated on.
Yep.
So I've had both sides of the spectrum.
Yep.
You see what I mean? And so, like, because of that mistake, I wouldn't even call it a mistake, because of that choice I made, I understood that respecting the other person, regardless of what situation the relationship might be in, they deserve nothing but utmost respect and honesty and transparency. Right. And because where I was in my life at the time, I made a decision that even though that person didn't know about it, it's not how I would like to be treated. And so when I did get treated like that, then I'm like, oh, I get it. Never again. I was never going to do it again anyway. But you know what I mean? So then that whole thing, oh, once a cheat, always a cheat, babes. I'm just like, no, babes, it's not.
No. Because when I was growing up, I was that kid in college. Like, I cheated loads.
Oh, you cheated loads?
Yeah, I was like just a dumb 17-year-old boy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and then it happened to me when I was in LA, and it crippled me. Like, it hurt so bad. I remember being like, this is what it feels like if I made people feel this way.
Oh, that's what it made you feel. So when you felt it, you went into reflection mode.
I went into reflection mode of how bad of a person I was. Like, I was like, oh my God, like so much guilt come over me, because I was like, I can't believe I may have made someone feel how I feel now, because it really, really hurt me. So I was like, wow, I'm never going to ever let anyone feel this way again. Even if my brain goes to the, I want to, or I'm not happy in a relationship, I'm never going to let it get to this point.
Right.
You know what I mean? So because it had such a traumatic effect on me.
But did you ever think, sorry to interrupt you, but did you ever think, because you were doing it in college, because, you know, you were a rampant teenager, after you left that kind of environment, did you carry on with that habit? And did having that saying, oh, once a cheat, always a cheat, did it ever play in your head, or did you not care?
I just think I was completely oblivious to it until it happened to me. I was just like, oh, like didn't cheat. I had long distance relationships and stuff. I didn't cheat, but I never really considered what I was like beforehand. Do you know what I mean? I was just like, I was young and dumb. Who cares? That was my mindset. And then when it happened to me, I was like, oh, age doesn't matter with this. This isn't an age thing. This is
all emotional.
This is an emotional thing. It's how you make people feel thing. And people have feelings at any age. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And I used to use it as I was in college. I was a teenager. I was dumb. I was 18, 17. And then when it happened to me at 23, 24, I was like, whoa. Like, I can't believe I've done this to people. So I was like, I'm never, ever gonna let anyone even come close to feeling that way.
Right. What was did you have one? Like a stereotype that you kind of had to live or commit to understand?
I think even down to where I'm at now, it's like the stereotype of what a relationship should be. And like you said, can you change? Do you know what I mean? Because you've cheated or been cheated on. And for me, it's like, it's not that I don't believe in cheating. I just believe that you should respect the relationship that you're in. Do you know what I mean? I don't believe that anybody belongs to me and I don't belong to them. So whatever it is that I'm in with that particular person, I think we should honor whatever that relationship is.
If you're in, you're talking if you've labeled it a relationship.
Whether you have or haven't, ultimately you're in a relationship, like us as friends. Regardless, even if I've just met you, I'm gonna respect that with the highest amount of respect that I can. So if I feel like, oh, this friendship isn't working out, I need to respect that by telling you, by communicating with you, not by saying this isn't working out, but just saying to you, hey, I've got a problem. What do you think we can do about this? Because I'm always solution driven. So for me, it's like I've never really been affected by cheating. I've never really considered cheating. I've always considered it a bit of a human trait. Do you know what I mean? I've always thought that, like, where people say, like, oh, you can't change because you cheated. It's like, that's bollocks. I've always thought it's rubbish because I'm like, so many people do so many different things that, to me, like, because when we say cheating, we're always kind of only talking about that physical cheat.
Yeah, infidelity.
Yeah. But there are so many different levels of infidelity that nobody talks about.
Like emotional?
Yeah.
You're talking about?
Yeah, like, for example, I know that when we're speaking about that, it's mainly about men that physically cheat on women. Yeah, or men on men, or women on women, or they on them. Do you know what I mean? Whatever it is.
Nicely done.
Yeah. So whatever that is, mainly it's speaking about that physical. But for me, there are different infidelities that take place. My love language isn't the physical. I could more often than not, I'd probably forgive you for a physical. Do you know what I mean? That doesn't mean that I'd allow it. I'm not saying that I'm tolerating it, but for me, it's not the physical isn't the issue.
Is that because you are because for our listeners who don't know Dwayne personally, Dwayne is a very, very people's person and you're very flirtatious.
I am.
So do you reckon that you've tailored this because of who you are?
I think that I probably have tailored it because of who I am, because I've been told that who I wasn't how everybody else was, like the stereotype. So from primary school, I've always been what you've just described. Right? I've always been the person that I love women and I want to be around women, but I love men and I want to be around men, but it's never sexual.
Yeah.
Right? I just enjoy connection.
Yeah.
Right? Now, the issue is the moment I connect with a woman, I'm flirting. When I connect with a man, nobody bats an eyelid. It's a vibe. Right?
So you're saying to me that your connection with women, not all of them have that, oh, this could go somewhere.
Like majority of them, it's got nothing to do with sex
Platonic.
or physical. Majority, it's just that I'm a man and I'm a physical man that most women I still find attractive. But that doesn't mean because I find them attractive that I have to move and navigate from the attraction.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Like for me, everything is an opportunity to learn, change, grow and evolve and to connect. Every relationship I want to connect with, it's got fuck all to do with the physical, even if the physical is a contributing factor. Whereas growing up as a teenager, I just assumed because I may have an attraction, therefore you must want to do that. That's why I lost my virginity quite late, because it was like, I didn't want to lead with the physical. I didn't want to go around just fucking, because that was easy. For me, like meeting a girl, bringing her back, us having physical, I found that easy. I knew that could happen because that was almost all people were doing. That's what it was for. It's like you meet someone and it's like, when are we going to get to the point where you're my man? And really all I have to do is tell you that I'm your man and I can fuck you.
Right. But you wanted more of an intellectual connection.
I wanted it to be more than that. I'm not saying that I never fell into that role.
Yeah.
But for me, it was never about sex. It was more, I was all that kissy, touchy, feely foreplay. I love that shit. So that was all. You know what I mean? You see, you got to take a moment, Cisco. You know I'm a 90s boy.
For my listeners who ain't watching this on YouTube, please go to YouTube and just watch his face. Particular moment. It's funny.
That should have been a GIF.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah.
It will be.
I love it. But you understand, for me, it was like, I was almost kind of like, not frowned upon, but like, yeah, I was. I still believe to this day that me and my guy came up with seeing, because it didn't exist when I was growing up, guys. No one saw each other. And I was in college, a virgin, and my boy at the time, shout out to Hammy. Nobody knows him. I know we're not to do shout outs, but Wayne Hamilton. Yeah.
Hammy got it.
Hammy got a shout out. But he was in a full-blown relationship. Right? And he had lost his virginity to his girl at the time. And I remember looking at the relationship and thinking, this is amazing. But I want this at 20 plus, man. We are 17.
Yeah. You're like,
but I was like, but I love what they have because
Right.
because we were all friends. So we all hung out. We were there together. So watching their relationship, but that's why I rate my boy, because he didn't allow that to cripple or blind seeing me And he never has. He always sat with me and was like, "Dear, I get that." I was like, I want to be in a relationship with someone, but without this title and the labeling and the like, I don't know you.
Too
like,
much for
yeah,
now.
like we go out on one date and you want me to call you my girlfriend. I don't know you.
That's very old school, isn't it?
I don't know you. Like, what do you mean I'm your man? I don't know you. You could be cuckoo. I don't know you.
Right, but it's because if I'm not mistaken, because that's a very old school way, and the kids are still doing it now. To say you're my boyfriend eliminates the shame attached to the physical aspect
And I
of
always
it,
knew that.
And it tries to eliminate you possibly being with other people.
Yeah, because
but again,
It's
that's
like
all,
it's claiming you to be my product or my
Yeah.
person.
that was what I've always had an issue with.
okay.
The claiming, right? So that for me was always an issue. The stereotyping of that. I have zero problem with monogamy, right? But when I was growing up, there was no such thing as polyamory.
Yeah,
There was no such thing as, polygamy was there, but I didn't know about polygamy.
right. We didn't know
Right.
about it. Right.
But polyamory was definitely something I didn't know about, because polygamy, I believe, is you're married and you can have other people, and polyamorous is where you can see more people. So you're in a
I'm glad
relationship.
you
You
wrote
don't
that down
have
because I was so lost.
to. You don't
Thank
have to be married. So
Mhm.
polyamory is more like you can see, you can have a partner, you can have a wife and have a girlfriend, or vice versa, whatever it is, right? So I've now been intrigued by this, not because I'm like, oh, I want to do that, but just like, oh wow, there are different ways of having your relationship. It doesn't have to.
So you can explore that.
I can explore me. So it's not even that, because I don't care about the labels. I just want to explore who I am. Who am I outside of Dwayne in a relationship?
Right.
Who am I? And because I just feel like I've just been only allowed to be that.
So do you think, because of how flirtatious and people pleasing you are,
Yeah.
if there was a female equivalent to you and a bit more,
Yep.
would you be comfortable being in a relationship with someone who, skates in the edge of danger all the time?
I'd be comfortable being in a relationship with somebody who knows himself, period.
Right.
That's
Regardless of the
sexy to me.
traits. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like a woman that knows herself and literally doesn't need me but wants me. It's my shit.
you best. You see him look at the camera. That's my
Like
shit.
Another gift.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I don't want to be needed. I want to be wanted.
Wanted.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I want to know that you can survive without my validation and I can do the same. So we choose to be here rather than
We have to be here.
We have to be here, right? Because what else do you do? It's like no, don't do that.
So then that, I guess, falls on also the other stereotype, as you were saying, is like man must provide, because a lot of the time maybe they stay together because they need you to provide.
Exactly that.
Because they're looking for a daddy.
You should have looked at the camera then.
Not at me.
Oh, yeah.
You looked at
I appreciate it, but
Do you know what? And that's funny. That's another stereotype, because it's like now, the modern age woman, she's providing for herself. She's
woman
boss.
CEO.
And I live and I've seen that many a times before it became, let's say, a topic of discussion.
Before
Fashion.
trendy.
There we go. Fashion,
right.
trendy.
Before it's a hashtag. But it's amazing to see. But a lot of men have a problem with that, because they see that trait as a masculine trait. They're saying as a woman providing herself and paying for the bills as being boisterous. And it's like, well, no, you can't.
So I go on for you.
Go on.
So so I like watching like UFC, right?
Right.
And then a lot of the time you'll hear like the commentators on podcasts and be like, oh yeah, but she would beat up her guy, and the guy would have a problem with that. Or like the girl's like has the more masculine energy because she's a fighter and the guy's not, and they have a problem with that. Or the woman is the provider and the man is not. The woman makes more than the man.
Right.
And it makes the man feel inadequate.
Right.
Would that bother you?
No.
No, me either. But
No, those things don't bother me. What bothers me, right? Again, because these are the things that they say is conditioned. They're saying that's a masculine energy. I don't think that is. I understand why we think it is, but I don't think it
because
is.
he's warrior,
Right.
old school.
My thing is, this may be controversial, but this is what it is for me. My thing is, you can be that woman, but understand you have to submit. Yes,
Tell us more.
I will. Yeah. You have to submit, yeah, to knowing that I'm the man in this relationship. Right? You must submit to that.
Wait 1 second.
Right? Now the thing is, I said it's gonna be controversial because of how you're hearing it, because of the conditioning.
But this is
Right?
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm trying to now.
There's
as,
beauty behind what I'm saying. What I mean is that, right? Now listen, I cannot be a mother.
Right.
I can't.
No.
And she cannot be a father. So the moment you try, so I don't mind a woman being connected to her masculine energy.
Right.
There is nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Yeah. But there is nothing more sexy than a woman submitting to her femininity for me as a man.
Why
Allowing
does
me,
it have to be for you though?
because I'm the man in the relationship. That's
yeah,
me.
but she can still do it to you. She can still do it to herself or for herself.
No,
and it'll benefit you.
that's a standard. That's a standard you must.
Right.
But that's not what we were talking about. Right? So what we was talking about is a woman that shows up in her masculinity. So as long as she knows how to submit to her femininity for herself first, I'm good.
All right, let me take a second to wrap this because before you carry on, I need to get it together in my head.
Get it together.
Okay, so I've had a few counts to like think about this, only because when you said what you said, you're like me. Sometimes you need to elaborate to understand the beauty behind it.
Of course.
And I know you're not careless of your words either. And
No.
judging by the mannerisms in your hand, you've managed to find footage that we are going to put into the microphone so our listeners can
Have a better
hear it.
understanding.
Yeah. So this is what you mean when you said...
When I said what I said.
They best tap out.
Yeah.
Shut up, Kane.
Not tap out. It's about, and again, this for me, it's the same with a man submitting to his role. It's about a woman submitting to her role. Yeah.
So to clarify, a man also has to submit to
Of
his role
course.
to a woman. Okay.
Of course.
Go.
Of course.
Understand how much power they have when it comes to men. Acting like a lady around us moves us. Women forget that the power they have over men is attraction and influence. Ladies, I'll never tell you not to be alpha or direct or whatever you want to call it, but there's a tone that men are directly tuned into that a woman can take, and she can just about get whatever she wants. There's a way that my wife can speak to me, and my attention is only on her. Masculinity responds to femininity every single time. When a man is hit with the gravity of a woman's attraction, it turns on his provision and protection. You turn into something that is to be secured and sustained. Men crave feminine women. The touch and word of a woman can change his whole day. I'm not saying don't be independent, strong, and successful. Be that too. But a man needs that peace only a woman can bring.
That was articulated amazingly, but I am, as a modern day man, going to disagree with certain things because there are some men, and we call them, maybe it's incorrect, who don't like to wear the trousers in the relationship, and the woman is the more dominant feature, and that works just as well because he doesn't hold those tools to be a lion. So
That's why this is specific to certain men.
So this is specific to how you feel.
Exactly.
Not a generalization.
It's not a
how
general.
it should be.
No, it can't be.
That needs to be clarified because I'm sure some of us on listeners are like,
No, but then how could that be? You're a gay man.
Gay. That's what I was going to ask.
Do you know what I mean?
Well,
so that it doesn't.
But he's not saying that in with that in his conscious. Do you know
No,
what I mean?
he's saying it speaking about himself and from his perspective. This is the problem about the stereotype.
All men.
But he's being general to specific men. So he's saying all men, but he's being general to specific men, as in a heterosexual, masculine. Like, again, these are all titles that we don't actually want to be bind to, but we have to use in order to make other people understand what we're talking about.
And first to understand.
Right? But the truth of the matter is, of course, we can't be speaking about all men, because even if all men are similar, not all men are the same.
Mm-hmm.
So even when you're speaking generally, it still can't be very specific to all men generally.
Mm-hmm.
It is still kind of like just a touch on people that understand. Like I understand that language, and that's how I perceive feminine energy. That's how I would like feminine energy for me. It's the tone in which you present yourself.
So you like the fragrance of a woman to be there, regardless of who she is.
Regardless.
Because your masculine energy will react.
It will respond
to that.
100,000%.
For your construct of a relationship to work, it would be the flip side. It would be a woman that, she doesn't need you, but you want her.
Yes.
But you're going to represent in the way you know what a man is, which tends to be leading with the masculine traits.
Yes.
But
if I'm leading with that, I will always respond to what she needs.
Right.
Do you understand? So if, for example, she might be a little bit more, I use like the mother of my children, I use Cassie as an example. What I'm always saying to her is to this day, we've been in each other's life for over 20 years. It's like 25 years, right? And she's still like, our daughter is 14. we chose, she chose, we chose. I use that again. She chose, we chose. We decided that she would be a stay-at-home mum because she would rather do that than work all the hours that God sends and not really be around for
The
our
kids.
daughter, right?
Mhm.
It was our daughter at the time, but obviously, I've got more kids now. But at the time, it was just, we made that decision based on just the one child. It was her we had. And to this day, she still finds it difficult for me to be the provider and the protector because she was used to being independent. And she's used to that because of the conditioning, right? So she still finds it difficult to receive my role as a man. But I have no problem receiving her role as a woman. And what I have difficulty is I have difficulty receiving her trying to show up as the man. And I get, again, air quotes, as the man. Using more masculine energy.
What would be too much for you? And let's use, only because you were with Cassie, you've been in each other's lives, for 20 years. What is something that she would do or could do that you'd be like, babes, relax or calm down, dial it down?
So again, this is what we call the 90s girl thing, yeah? 90s girls, they're very like, you know me? They're a bit rude.
Yeah, they're road, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, Cisco? So they're very...
For my listeners, streetwise.
But I love that because remember, these are the women that I've grown up with.
Yeah.
So there's something about that. It's what I call
That's your reference.
It's what I call a front teat, back teat, gold teat,
Yeah.
Dungargan. So they've got almost that front teat, gold teat attitude. You know the girls that's got a gold teat in them out, just like, well, go on, bruv. I like that shit.
That's gold tooth for
Yeah?
I don't see them in Wales.
You don't see them in Wales, but there's
See them in
something
Wales.
about the energy that those women bring, which Cassie is about. She's more of a, if you lot know, like an Aaliyah type of 90s girl. So not the Missy Elliott. It's more
Right.
Aaliyah. So a girl with the long hair, but they got the baggies and blah, blah, blah. She's
Yeah.
that type of flavor. So because they're like that, they come with an energy whereby I can do what you can do.
And sometimes better.
Right.
Right.
And it's that, I like that energy, but understand there's a time to submit. There is a time to understand that it's not a competition. Even if you can, why are you competing with me?
Right.
Like,
I don't know.
so I give you what she would do is simple things. She can't receive my role as what she chose to be as her role. I'm the provider. I'm the protector. That was what you decided. You're going to be a stay-at-home mum.
And
You are moving like a single mother. Your energy is of that of a single mother. I know the energy because I was brought up by
one.
Right. Even though my dad, which is why I don't like the single mother term. I understand it and I get it. But my mum was a mother who happened to be single. The single mother implies that they are raising their child on their own with no help from a father. My dad was very much in my life and is. So my mum is not, firstly, I rate my mum because although my dad was in my life, my dad was definitely the dad that come on a Sunday, whistle from the window, but my dad was in my life. And when he was present. You understand? My dad is amazing. My mother is epic. So I knew that I would have to do more than say my dad did, but still come with my dad's energy when he did. You understand? So, but Cassie still rolls like my mum and her mum. You roll like I'm not present. That is subconsciously. She's not doing that with any malice in her heart. She's doing it almost to help me. I'm going to get on with this and he'll be fine, like what you spoke about providing for, you know what I mean? Doing certain things for your missus and blah, blah, blah. She's doing it with the intention to help me. But this is the difference. There is a difference between, what's the word I was looking for? Including. So there's including and...
excluding?
No. Oh, it's my way of describing things. So on a receipt, for example, yeah, there's a difference when the waiter's tip, whatever, is included, yeah, and you get a chance to be a part of it, right? Because they ask you whether you want
optional gratuity, whatever it's called, yeah.
And then and I can't remember what. So there's including. I always use it with Cassie every time, and now I can't remember it on the spot. So it's like including and. Oh, I'll get it. I'll come back to it. But Cassie has a way of doing things whereby she thinks by doing a certain thing for me, she's helping me. But in actual fact, she's not giving me the choice to decide whether I want to be included or not.
I see.
Okay.
She's taking the reins and making her own decision on what she thinks you'll like, as opposed to giving you the choice of.
She's made a
what you wanna do.
presumption.
She's doing it with the best
Excuse
of
me.
intentions.
Yeah, not with a bad intention.
There's not a bad intention, but all she's doing is actually just deciding for me.
Whereas you want to have that say.
It's a discussion because you're doing it. Like, you know, to this day, if like she needs money, she won't come to me. She'll wait. It's almost like, I didn't want to bother you, blah, blah, blah. But by the end of it, you still have to come to me. I still have to sort it out because I'm the provider. I'm the protector. But you're trying to sort it out on your own, trying to save me from the hardship of it. When in the end, it's something you have to come to me and I'm going to have to sort out anyway. And that's what I'm talking about. It's that energy of a woman that needs to understand when you are in a relationship with a man, allow him to be the role of the man.
Okay.
That's it.
That makes sense. Do you know what it is? I just think, like, as a modern day gentleman, I have a problem hearing the word submit.
Because of the conditioning.
Well, no,
because there's nothing wrong with submitting.
There isn't.
Because when I said to you about a man submitting, you were fine with it.
No, I wouldn't. I can't say to a man. I wouldn't say to a man, unless it was in a sexual, and I know that was his thing, to submit. That's the only context I would use submit.
Right.
I use the word surrender.
Yep.
Because that to me is different, and so your explanation makes sense. But for some reason, and I haven't quite articulated why, to tell her to submit.
Use the word surrender. Submit out and you surrender,
Do you know
because
what I mean?
that's it. Because that's all it is that I mean.
Right,
Submit
okay.
is just a word. As I said to you, I never get really closed off by the word itself.
Okay.
Do you know what I
It's
mean?
The explanation, the reason.
Yes.
Okay. That makes complete sense, because that is a preference that you would like to be in your relationship, and that's just for the relationship to work, the dynamic to work. That's what you prefer,
Yeah.
and that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. Wow.
You know, as a gay guy in a relationship with another man.
Yes. It's usually that's what gay relationships are.
Yeah.
When it comes to males.
My brain cells. Like, you know, like, so stereotypes like woman cooks and cleans, or like the man goes and provides,
Correct.
or the man does the bills and all that stuff.
Yes.
Like, so in a gay relationship, is there one that takes role? Do you kind of decide?
Yeah, no,
between
there are
you,
roles.
Or do you discuss it,
No,
or do you just kind of let
That's
it?
a great question. There's roles, and obviously because we're the same sex, it's like we don't really we don't really, there isn't really a male and female, because we might be two males, we might be two females. What tends to happen is the surroundings, the upbringings that you were exposed to, you tend to have those characteristics and attributes.
Yeah.
And I'm a 50-50 gayer. There's in relationships where, like,
Can we just pause on that?
Yeah, no.
I'm a 50-50 gayer.
I'm a 50-50
I'm not even
gayer.
sure I could say that and it would have the same. But now I'm using it. And then
Yeah.
I'm saying, listen, my boy Cisco said,
Yeah,
so I'm using it.
I'm a 50-50 gayer, and by that, what that means is that I will provide 100%, but I expect 100% as well.
Right.
So then you both meet.
So it's 50-50, and I'm talking about sexually, financially, and emotionally. I'm attracted to someone. I'm attracted to just sit down and, baby, we're going here, blah, 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 or dinner's on me, da, 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 or like, I'll do the cleaning the next day. I'll do exactly the same because I want to, not because he did it. And so there's this constant back and forth to make sure that we're always inputting the equal amount.
Right.
And if I don't have the energy, or my work schedule or his work schedules doesn't permit it, then we communicate to be like, look,
I call it
can't-
100, sis, if I'm
No,
honest.
definitely.
Because you're turning up 100% as yourself.
Definitely. But,
And you want
what
them
I
to
do
turn up as
physically will be
100%.
50% though sometimes. You know what I mean?
Oh, you hold back?
Listen, which is hard for me. Like, if he wants to cook for me 2 days in a row, I'm putting my feet up.
Right.
But I'm that person. I'm like, can I chop something, do something? You know what I mean? I like that. But there's other relationships where a man would just be the provider,
Right.
and he's the money.
Yeah.
And then the other gentleman would be just literally receiving everything, holding down the house. It's a bit more, it's what you're used to, but also depending on the age, because when an older person goes out with a younger person, I'm talking about if you're like in your 40s and 50s and you're going out with a fresh 20-year-old, then that's, they like that because they want the emotional harness. You know what I mean? And they want you
to be able to rely on
some of
them.
them is a daddy.
Yeah.
So what their parents couldn't give them, what their parents couldn't do, that's what they want. So that's not a 50-50 relationship.
Yeah, of
Do you know
course.
what I mean? So we don't have the roles, obviously.
Well, it might be 50-50, but they're just using different ways to contribute.
Oh no, I've seen. Well, from
Like,
my
maybe they're contributing financially and cooking, cleaning wise, but then the younger one is contributing more in another area to make up for that 50-50.
okay, and that's cute, but usually what
Cisco said that's cute, but what I've seen,
what I've seen, exactly what I've seen, and only what I've seen I've experienced. It's not everyone, because
Yeah.
I've seen relationships where the age gap has worked, but the younger ones are usually in their 30s. That's when it works. When they're in their teens and 20, usually it's like, do everything, buy everything for me. All I have to do is give you myself. And I mean that physically.
yeah, I think
It's a daddy.
Yeah.
And
I think
so
that works
with
in
me,
the heterosexual world too, though.
no, exactly, it does. But
When the age gap is like what you said, when they're
and
quite young.
they're there for an experience and not for the reason, which is love. You know what I mean? And I've never been okay with that, because, like, for example, like you mentioned about Cassie, I was like, whatever my counterpart can do, I can do too. I'm going to make sure I can do, but not for a competition, just because I'm set. I know I would hate anyone to be like, Cisco, you're abusing me, or you're taking advantage of me in any way. That was never going to happen. So I made sure that I showed up, and what I couldn't do, they knew, because then hopefully they would have that skill set.
Yeah.
For example, I don't build. I can't put up a shelf. I can't do none of that. If you want my help, and I'll do what I can, but I'll be the person that calls TaskRabbit,
1,000%.
and I'll pay for it.
Yeah.
But you've done it. To me, you've solved it.
Yeah, but that's the way. But that's chivalry. You know what I mean? One thing, guys, that I think has fucked this whole stereotypical thing is social media and trash TV, because I think all the representation of men who are now on these shows like Love Island, The Only Way is Essex, whatever, they're, with all due respect, very one-dimensional, aesthetically pleasing, and they haven't found it, or they don't have chivalry or the intent to be what, we've been installed as a man's man, which is to represent and hold your own and hold the people around you. You know what I mean? That to me is a man. You know what I mean? And it's really fucked it up, because now you have like someone who, like Joey Essex, would be so famous, and men would want to be like him. But then you're like, I don't know him now, but from what we saw in the media and definitely on the show, it's like, mate, you knock on it and it echoes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, that's now the new way of what a modern day gentleman is. And so those stereotypes are now being taken, and almost they've leveled up,
Yeah.
because before it was not presumptions, because they did happen, but just women calling us those things, and now you've got every right to call us those things and then some, because look what these Love Islanders,
That's what we're putting on a pedestal as our
and
representation.
it's just like, what? They don't have to do much to be validated, to be accepted, because now a blue tick means more than I'm going to provide for my friends or my loved ones.
That's very sad.
It's so sad. You know what I mean? And it's just like, when trash TV came out, I was like, great. But then I was like, oh shit, no way. This is deeper. And even like for black shows, like Love and Hip Hop, the way the black male is now stereotyped, they have every reason. Some people have every reason to believe that, because that's all you see. And that behavior gets glorified, and they make money from it, whether it's for endorsements or record deals or whatever. And they don't have to do much internally, because externally they're living. And of course, money doesn't mean anything, but monkey see, monkey do, right?
Yes.
So that's now what a gentleman is now. And I think that social media and these shows have really fucked us up, because I'm sure there's people that look just as good, or maybe are a 7 out of 10 and not a 10 out of 10, who've got heart of gold, and it can be like great examples of what a person can be, but they're not given the chance, because nowadays it's like thick as nails, amazing body, can't communicate, scream and shout, and we love it because it's drama.
Well, that's what sells, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what they've conditioned us to believe is what sells.
They had
Because
a bunch of intelligent people sat on there
Well, the thing-
who can solve problems without drama. We wouldn't be intrigued in watching it, right?
No, I think it would change, because
Yeah.
like Cisco said, monkey see, monkey does. So I feel like if they showed that more of things with some sort of, what should we say, with substance, if they showed it, I think that people would watch it, especially if it was the only things on. People watch trash because they want to build their numbers, right? And they know that sells quicker. So they believe that's the only thing people want to see. But I don't think that's true. I don't think it's true.
Yeah. It's for me, it's just a shame, because also professionally it's difficult. Like Joey Essex will be seen before me for a hosting job, where I can probably run circles with him, doing hosting. And it's just like, only because I'm not everything that I've worked so hard not to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's even that it's how humans consume though, right? It's what they're drawn to. Like if you put this on YouTube and put 3 guys have an intelligent conversation about masculinity, it'll get some views. If you put
If we're topless.
and Cisco slags off Joey Essex, you'll get loads.
Yeah.
Because people are drawn to the drama. It's like clickbait. That's what people are subscribed to. Hence, every news article or pop up on Facebook or whatever is always drama driven because that's what we're intrigued by.
Yeah, it's a shame because I believe that what we started talking about, which was about these male stereotypes, they would be different or less if in this day and age, how media is so important, if we had representation to show the world that it's evolved or it's not as that, as black and white as that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But hey, Sarah, you know, what can you do?
I mean, we did have it. Did you see with Pierce Brosnan? I can never say his last name. James Bond, Pierce Brosnan. Like they put a photo of him and his wife up and he was like, to me, she's as beautiful on the inside and the outside as she was when we first met. And they showed like a difference of what she looked like when they first met to now. And it's like, you know, she's put on weight, she's older, and he's Pierce Brosnan. Women fall at his feet. And he's like, no, I love the person inside.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, we never
see that.
We never see that. And I rated it so hard. I was like, we need more of this shit.
That's like Hugh Jackman. Everyone slates his wife going, like, Hugh Jackman, you're one of the sexiest men in Hollywood. And your wife is like a 3 out of 10. And I'm like, that's the rudest thing you could say because, okay, yeah, she's not Hollywood status beauty, but that's who he fell in love with. And she's been with him since before Wolverine, like the beginning.
I just find it so hard.
It's so annoying.
It triggers me when I hear that.
It's
I'm
so
just
annoying.
Like, who are you? Like, see the person that said that,
yeah,
or the people that say that. How would they feel if it was being said about
them? They would not be able to handle it.
So I don't understand how people think it's so cool to be unkind.
And it's the people saying it that are probably a 3 out of 10 as well.
No, definitely. And what it is, it's because it's so easy. You type and then leave.
Yeah, man, these keyboard warriors
but
need
you know
to...
what I mean? It's a madness. It's so bad. But again, that's another moment where I'm like, good for you, Matt. You don't. First of all, you don't have to justify it, but good for you because you're doing it in front of her, and to her because that's a validation that she needs. Because as strong as any woman or man is to hear those things, of course it chips away. Of course it chips away.
It does.
But it's the first time that I can recall, even think off the top of my head, where we've seen that kind of representation of a man being loyal to his woman, even though he's James Bond. You know what I mean?
Listen, it's not as hard as people think. I just think that we're getting really flexible and we're not honoring the simple 101 things that I don't think should go out of fashion, which is chivalry, respect, decorum, kindness. Like that should never go out of style, regardless if it's for a phone, for an app. Like if you don't have that, don't step to me.
Here.
You know what I mean? Wow, that was loaded. Thanks, boys. I didn't think that we were going to sweat so much about this subject, but I love it. And I hope listening that you agree, disagree, I have an opinion about it because I think it's something that so many men have made so many mistakes. I get it. But there are so many good ones who are trying to live better and break that generational curse. And I think you have 3 men here with very different opinions and hopefully enlightened you. And we would love to hear your thoughts. My progressing question is, and it's more for the Gen Zs, I would say, do you miss the construct of a man being a man and a woman being a woman? Because there's so many pronouns, there's so much more fluidity now. But in this situation, we struggled to articulate sometimes because we knew it was politically incorrect to be like the masculine and the feminine, but we had to label it because that's where we came from, but also for our viewers to understand. So do you miss, not just the Gen Zs, anyone listening, do you miss the masculine traits and the feminine traits? Do you think that certain traits should have gender labels? If you do, drop us a comment. And if you don't, drop us a comment anyway, because we want to know as well. Because for me, I feel like my struggle was because of that. You know what I mean? Because why is it only male? Why is it only female? And then as a gay man, I'm like, well, where the fuck do I stand now?
Right.
So as a Gen Z, when you're now they or them, how do you think about this? How do you get through it? Let us know. And thank you so much for listening, boys. Always a pleasure. Dwayne, Kane, thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Muchas gracias.
A lovely, lovely, enlightening conversation. And we hope we entertained you. Now take care, my friends. And remember to keep it real without the spiel.
Tell them again.